Hi, everybody. It is me, the fabulous Leo Brown. And I am on here. I know it's been a minute since I think it's been about a month since I've been on camera, but I wanted to come on and just share something that I am in the process of learning, something I'm learning. First of all, I hope all of you are having a wonderful, wonderful week, or you had a wonderful week. It is now Friday. It's about 1:30, but I wanted to come on and just share this with you. So, I was watching, I was on YouTube. I am a YouTuber. I do watch a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. But I was watching a preview for an episode of Y'all Fix My Life with, I think her name is Brandy Maxwell. I don't really know that much about her. I really don't. But I was watching this clip, and it was basically where Ian Levanzant was basically saying, like, you're making a fatal mistake, which is what a lot of women do, was where she was talking about, I think, her marriage. Excuse me. And she was saying, like, her marriage is on the rocks and blah, blah, blah. And Iyanla was like, well, you're making a fatal mistake because you're doing what a lot of women do, which is you're emasculating your husband. And apparently, I think for the backstory, apparently the husband cheated on her like numerous times. And she just was like, well, why is he doing this and blah blah. So she wrote to Yana for help, or one of them reached out for help, and it got me to really think. It got me to think about love, and not just love in the intimate, in the physical, but love even in friendship, love even with family, love even with ourselves, and how. And this is what I'm learning: how you have to learn. You have to learn how to love. You have to learn. You have to learn and you have to learn and allow someone to love you, someone to care for you. And when I say that, I'll give you an example. So here's what I mean by that. Oftentimes, for those of us who are single, now I'm going to take the love in the intimate physical sense. We all want to be, many of us want mates. Some of us want to get married. Some of us want to get married and have children. You know what I mean? And what I find, and I even include myself in this, is that oftentimes we're in love with the idea of love and not the actual allowance, not the actual, dare I say, growth, and not the actual work. We're in love with the idea. And I'll give you a good example of that. So there's somebody that I've known for over a year. We're not in a relationship, but this person and myself, we have expressed that we find each other attractive, but we haven't gone to that level. But what I've learned from last year until now, is that I had to really learn him. And I'm still learning him. Even as a friend, I had to learn not only where he was in life, but who he was. And when I say who he was or who he is, I don't mean like your favorite color. I don't mean your favorite scent. I don't mean your favorite cologne. I mean who are you? Who are you? What are you really about? Not just what are your goals, not just what are your dreams. Those are all good things to know and learn. But who are you really? What irritates you? What makes you even want to talk to me? What makes me want to talk to you? Um, and not only who you are, but where are you? Where are you in life? Are you wanting um, a relationship? Do you even know what a relationship is? Uh, you know, are you capable of committing? What is your definition of commitment? What does commitment mean to you? Because commitment can mean many things to different people. What's your relationship type? Because there are many relationship types. There's monogamy, there's polyamory, there's open, There's polyfidelities. There's so many different types of relationships. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? Um, excuse me. What are your what? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to pull up my chair. What are your goals? For said relationship. What do you want? What do you need from that person? And this is one thing that I'm learning. I'm learning that. Like, what do I need? You know what I mean? Not only what do I need, but what am I doing wrong? Where am I making a mistake? Where am I not growing? Um, am I being needy? Am I being clingy? Am I projecting? Because in the beginning, I will say this, in the beginning of me meeting this particular person, I projected a lot of what I wanted or what I thought I wanted, which was roses and candles and lovemaking and soft music and romance, and not learning to accept, learning to embrace, learning to say, you know what? Okay, you might be a little anal retentive on certain things. You may be even non-traditional on certain things, but learning to accept that person for who they are and where they are in life, not forcing that person to be something or be somewhere that they know they're not ready for. Um, and even with myself, learning to let go of my judgments, learning to let go of my projections, learning to listen. Because that's one thing that in the kind of, I'm going to go back to the whole Young Love Fix My Life clip, was that in that clip with Young Love, Miss Maxwell, she and Iyanla were talking, and she would not listen to her. She would listen to respond. She wouldn't listen to receive or to hear. And I will admit, I am bad at that. Like, and I'm learning, like I'm still learning. Okay, I have to listen to hear and to receive, not to react, not to respond, not to hear myself talk, but to really hear, to really understand, to process what someone is saying to me. Because one of the remarks that my friend would often make to me was and is, you don't listen. He would often, and he doesn't say it much now, but he would often say, I notice that you don't listen to me. And I didn't understand what he meant. I'm like, I'm listening to you. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not listening. But now I'm starting to understand that, because what he meant was, you're hearing what I'm saying, but you're not listening to understand. You're listening to respond. You're listening to hear yourself talk. And I'm really having to learn, okay, if I really want to be someone's mate, if I want to be someone's man, girlfriend, wife, whatever title you get, queen, whatever title you give yourself, if I want to be that, I have to learn to listen with intent. I have to learn to listen to hear, and I have to learn to listen to process. But most importantly, I have to learn to accept this person that has walked into my life for who they are, not only for who they are, but where they are in life. Because in the beginning, I'm gonna tell you, in the beginning of he and I being friends, I was so convinced. I was like, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to load him up with gifts. I need to do this. I need to spend money. I need to do this. Will change his mind. This will get him to come around. This will do it. And it's like, okay, why are you forcing something that has potential, but you're not allowing it to grow? You're not cultivating it. You're not taking your time. You're rushing yourself. You're rushing the person. You know what I mean? The person has already told you, look, I think you're great, but right now, here's where I am, and I need you to accept that. And fast forward to now, he and I are much closer. We get along very well. Um, and I'm learning to embrace, not just accept, but to embrace a person for where they are and who they are. And that's not just with him, that's with anybody in my life. no matter where you are, even with when it comes to love with certain friends, like my BFF. I'm learning to embrace, okay, he's not the biggest communicator in the world. He doesn't call. He doesn't text. It doesn't mean we're not friends. It doesn't mean he doesn't love me. It doesn't mean we don't see each other as family. It just means his method of communication, that's not his method. His method is more in your face. His method is more direct. You see? And it's taken me a long time to realize that, but that's his method. And I have two choices. I can either embrace or I can say, you know what, that method doesn't work for me, and I can walk away and leave him where he is. But I've learned and I'm learning, I have to embrace that. You know what I mean? I have to say, okay, that's who you are. And I have to accept and embrace that within you. That don't have nothing to do with me. That's you. You know what I'm saying? So I say all this to say to anybody, learn to love. Don't fall into it. Learn. Excuse me. Learn to love. One, learn to love yourself. Learn to love you. And loving yourself has a really, really kind of fluffy, fucked up connotation. Loving yourself doesn't mean, oh, well, I'm gonna go out here and get my nails done. That's self-care. Getting your nails done, getting your hair done. Those are all good things. You should do that. That's grooming. But loving yourself means, okay, if I really do love myself, then that means I have to open my mind. That means I have to listen. That means I have to admit I'm wrong. That means I have to admit I don't always tell the truth. That means I have to admit, okay, I'm not as open-minded as I thought I was. That means I have to admit I'm stubborn. That means I have to admit, uh, I may say the wrong shit. I may laugh at the wrong shit. That means I have to be honest about what works for me and what doesn't. That means I have to tell myself no. That means I have to tell myself yes to certain things. That's what loving yourself is. Loving yourself is a continuous journey that you will always go through until the day you leave this planet. Um, and then number two, if you're wanting to love someone else or you want someone else to love you, learn each other. Learn each other. Learn what you're about. Learn what your intentions are. Learn your flaws. Learn your weaknesses. Grow with each other. And that's not always easy. That takes time. It takes effort. That takes energy. That takes consistency. That takes knowing, okay, this person isn't reliable in this way. They're reliable more so. Like, for instance, you may meet a man and he's great in every way, but he may not be affectionate. He may not be affectionate. He may be verbal. He may be someone that says how he feels. He may not show it. Or the opposite. You may meet someone who's not a talker, who's not that they're not emotionally aware. They have empathy, but they express their empathy, they express their emotion in different ways. They may not be, oh, I'm gonna write a poem and sonnets and everything you say makes me cry. They may be more of, well, I'm gonna hug you. I'm going to not just, I'm not gonna kiss you, but I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna save money. I'm going to make sure that we eat well. I'm going to make sure that we have a retirement fund. I'm going to be on you about your health. I'm going to make you talk about traumas and things that have held you back. And together, we're going to work through it. That is their way of expressing themselves. You know what I mean? That may be their way of expressing how they feel about you. Or they may say, I really view you as a really good friend, in the beginning. They may say, look, it's a process. Because I used to always, they used to always bother me when guys would be, oh, it's a process. Because I'm not going to lie. I used to think, well, you're leading me on. You know what I mean? Like, you're just wanting me to wait around until you get, whatever it is out your system. But what I'm learning is That's it's not that it's now. Not all people are doing that. Not all people are. For some people are stringing you along, but for others, it really for them it really is a process. They're really saying to you, "Look, I like you, but I have to process you. I have to process what you're about. I have to process your fears and your flaws and your intentions. And I need to get used to you, and you have to get used to me." You know what I'm saying? And in that, we're gonna date. We're gonna date other people. We're gonna get to know ourselves. And if it's meant for us to come together, if we embrace the idea of being together along with the universe's alignment, it will be so. But if not, it's fine. That's one thing I'm learning too. And my final thing is being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. It does not mean it. And I've said this before, I said it in the previous video. But it doesn't mean it at all. It means you just choose to be by yourself. And technically, you're really not. Because if you believe as I do, your ancestors walk with you, your guides walk with you, your gods walk with you. If you believe as I do, then you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, then you walk with the Lord. Whatever works for you. But you're not by yourself. And that's a big misconception. We often think, because I'm not going to lie, I buy into it too. We often think that anybody over 35, 35, 40, oh God, it's like, no, it's not, you don't need a mate. You don't need a man, or you don't need a woman, or, to make yourself feel complete. The person that is in your life shouldn't complete you. You complete yourself. All they're doing to your life is reflecting who you are, parts of who you are, and also parts of yourself that maybe you neglect. You know what I mean? And parts of yourself that you hide from. That's all that person does. And so that it adds a bit more sweetness, or it adds a bit more salt, or it adds a bit more spice to your relationship. That's all it is. So that's one thing that I am learning. And like I said, I'm learning that in order to love, you have to allow it to happen. You can't force it. You can't fix it. You can't make a person see what you see, because they don't wear your glasses and they don't have your eyes. The only thing you can do is say, you know what, this person's in my life, either to teach me something about myself, or we're going to teach each other, or or even in friendship, I'm going to learn from them, they're going to learn from me. And eventually time will pass and things will grow. And once we've done what we need to do, we'll move forward. But I think we just have a big misconception when it comes to that. We often think we're supposed to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. If it were, we'd have a balanced budget. We'd have a president that has a brain. And we live in a world where we don't damage it. Just saying. You know what I mean? So I'm learning it. I'm learning that it's okay to just be. I'm learning that in order to love, that's really what it means. If you love from a pure place, it means that you're okay with just being yourself. You don't have to put on a mask. You don't have to say the right things. Because oftentimes, especially in intimate love, in like dating, we don't necessarily show who we are. We show the representative. We show who we think we're supposed to be for that person. Even that's why you have catfishing. That's why you have this big thing with online dating. That's why you have it, because people think, well, if I tell them this or I show them this, they'll be with me, and eventually they'll just overlook my issues because I got them and they got me. And it's like, as you can see, that never works, because eventually the real stuff starts to come out. It starts to show. The cracks start to show. So be who you are. Be yourself. And that's so important. So important. But also be willing. Be willing to grow. Be willing to change. Be willing to admit your faults. Be willing to embrace them. Be willing to say, you know what, you're right. You know what, I'm wrong. Be willing to call that person out and say, listen, I love you, but in this right now, you're wrong. And I think you need some help. I think you need to look within yourself about some stuff. Maybe get some counseling. If you need me, I'll go, go with you. Things like that. That's what love truly is. It means if you love somebody, it truly means you're not afraid. You're unafraid of what life will bring you. When you love yourself and you love life, life is just a wonderful, wonderful place to be because you're like, what am I afraid of? My life is great. That doesn't mean you're asking for negative things to come into your life. It just means that you're like, you know what? My life is so great that I surrender to whatever abundant, beautiful things life has been wanting to give me. I surrender to it coming to me now because I love me. That's what loving yourself means. It means you can look at your flaws and faults and go, okay, I have them. All right, I'm a little fucked up. Okay, I'm stubborn. I'm flawed, but I'm also willing to work through and I'm willing to work with it and find out why I do what I do. And I'm able to talk to my friends, my family, people I trust to say, this is my issue. How can I rectify this? Because obviously I don't see what you see. So you have a better vision of me. What would you suggest that I do? So these are the things that I'm learning slowly but surely every single day. Not just, excuse me, I'm sorry, not just um, you know, intimately, but just even with myself. I'm learning like, yes, I like to eat. Like for instance, I'm a foodie. But I'm also realizing food doesn't I like food. Food doesn't always like me. You don't I like to eat, but I don't have to live to eat. There's a difference. There's a big difference between the two. And I'm learning that. It's like, okay, I like to eat, I like a good meal, but I don't have to have, the big gulps and the whoppers and the cheese and the, steak smothered in onions and granted, all that sounds delicious, but I don't have to subject myself to put my body in a place or in a sense where I'm living to eat. I'm not eating to live. You see? And since I'm learning that, my life has gotten a bit healthier. Don't get me wrong, I still grub down, trust me. I'm not gonna be a thin person. That's just not it. But that doesn't mean I can't be healthy. There's a big difference. And it's just like in love. No love is going to be perfect. I don't care if it's love with friends. I don't care if it's love from family. I don't care if it's love from your spouse. You're never going to have perfection. But what you can have is a healthy, beautiful, stable, honest love. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to come on here and say that. I hope it made sense. It just was in my heart to say because it's something that I'm learning. Maybe you're on this journey with me. If you want to, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think of this video. I know that this is kind of random, but I just wanted to come on and speak from the heart. So until next time, it's me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I will talk to you soon. Okay? Bye-bye.